But what you're staring at is a massive, draconic shape, a statue.
This is unnatural and shouldn't be here.
Is it unnatural like it's from another world?
And with that, I will skewer my left hand upon the spear tail.
Everything's kind of shifting and moving, and you come clambering out onto the open space in front of this temple, and you're immediately almost blinded. And all around you is a desert landscape. And it looks back over to you, and he goes, "Yep, well, we're fucked." Welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons. We are the Amorous Armadillo, and we are playing Roads Not Taken, which is what we call this thing. To my immediate right, we've got... Son of a bitch. To my immediate right is Andrew Summers playing whom again?
I'm playing Corsic Graves.
And Corsic's... What's Corsic about?
Corsic was about paladining, but he has since lost connection with his god, apparently.
That seems ridiculous. Why did that happen?
Shenanigans.
And to my left, off camera to the other camera, let's switch over to Poncho. Yay! Poncho, who are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing Bedouin Shidstavan, the Asimar Dark Sorcerer.
What's going on with Bedouin?
He's a fucking Dark Sorcerer. He sorcerers darkness, and he no longer has access to his divine, or not divine, his patron.
Divine.
His patron Deva, he gave her up to save an entire plane from being enslaved.
You think?
With all information, I saved an entire plane from being enslaved. I am a great sacrifice. I'm a martyr.
Sure. And you seem to have made a greater connection with something else.
Yeah, weird dark thing.
Hey,
Yeah, we'll get to that.
don't martyrs have to die?
Yes.
Not too late.
I'm all good for making you a martyr.
I believe he say. Are you implying that you were prepared to martyr yourself? No. You just wanted it to seem that way. You're prepared to make it look like you were prepared to martyr yourself. And then, John, I was going to skip you, but let's go ahead and
Yeah.
tell everybody who you're playing.
I'm playing Selwyn, the dwarf fence. Everything's the same. I can still steal things, sell things, and shoot things.
All right. Well, you had found yourself, the temple that you were in was sinking into the sand, you discovered as you emerged out into daylight. A strange, strange daylight with a silver sky and a blue sun. All around you, desert. Eventually, the dragon temple settled.
Dragon Dungeon.
Temple dungeon. Well, you're out of the dungeon. Now it's just a temple.
Did you send us to Athos? Be in Athos.
You're not in Athos.
I want to be in Athos.
So do I, but we're not in Athos. You were surveying the land and getting your bearings on this weirdly, I guess, sort of now kind of getting muddy platform. Like the humidity that was there is now just capturing grains of sand that are blowing in the wind. Bedouin, you noticed off the corner of your eye a shadowy creature. It seemed to indicate to you that things were not particularly going well. And Dave, do you remember what this creature looked like?
Well, I only saw. Like, you're asking if Bedouin knows or if Poncho knows?
Well, Bedouin's looking at it right now.
Yeah. Well, Poncho only saw him briefly in a real, not particularly opaque sense. So kind of, he's dark, had like a bird beak and like weird legs and stuff like that. I don't remember if they could hear him too, or if we covered that.
Oh, we did not cover it.
Okay, cool. Dark guy. I don't know if he was intended to be kind of transparent, but weird legs and bird beak.
Yep, it seems like it's a shadow. Sometimes it seems completely opaque, and sometimes you can see through it as if it is just a shadow being cast. It seems to flicker back and forth in the sun, depending on how the rays hit it.
And I don't recognize them, correct?
You don't recognize it, but part of you feels that this is somehow connected to your shadowy sorcerer abilities. It feels like there was always something scratching at the back of your head, but it was always kept at bay by your diva patron.
See how well that works now.
Called Hata, who is no longer, you feel, is no longer with you. But it's just kind of cocked its head at you and looking after it told you that you were effed. And you can see as it's kind of staring at you, it's not moving, just kind of looking at you specifically. As far as you can tell, no eyes, just maybe like a case in vacancies. And you can see looks like there's insects of various kinds, or spiders, all sorts of vermin crawling on its form. You can't really make out, but occasionally they like flitter off of it and buzz around and then reattach.
It's pretty metal. Hey,
Does it move 5 feet to the east each time?
You can't see it.
can he have an Australian accent? I feel like he should have an Australian accent.
He probably should. I don't believe I can give it an appropriate. Let's give it a shot. If it only says "Good day, mate," and that's all he ever says, that's probably then yes. Otherwise, if he has to say anything else, probably not.
Put another shrimp on the Barbie.
On the Barbie.
It's probably for the
The
best.
dingo ate my baby.
My baby got ate by a dingo.
So no, the answer is no. Maybe I'll workshop it. So the Selwyn, Corsic. Oh my god, I remember both your characters' names. Selwyn, Corsic. You notice Benwin kind of looking off in the distance, staring at nothing. You don't really see if there's anything out there that would catch your interest. You can go ahead and give me a perception checks if you'd like. I just want to get some dice rolled.
Sure. I rolled a 9 plus my perception of 4, so 13.
16.
Okay. No, he's staring out into the distance, and you don't see anything of particular note, but you do get a sense of what's around you. With the position of the sun, you can make an assumption of which directions are north, south, east, and west. You don't see much if you're assuming that those are the same cardinal directions. The sun is low in the sky to the what you would presume to be the east. You see far in the distance dark shapes that look like they may be mountains of some kind. To the north, there's a slight haze, like a shift in the distance. You can't make out what kind of terrain that may be, and it's far in the distance, or it's close and hazy. To the west, it looks flat. You just see a horizon, and to the south, you see flat, but it looks like there are a storm cloud across most of the southern horizon, like a dark clouds in the sky in the distance. The sky itself is relatively clear, again oddly silver in color, and the sun is gleaming blue, like giving a blue hue to all the light around you.
You all right, bud?
Looking directly at this dark critter.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Who should I ask?
I point. That guy.
Oh yeah, man, you're not all right.
Who did you just point at? Who did he just
You're
point at?
you're not all right, mate.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Who did you just point at?
Nothing.
You feeling okay? There's a... What are you pointing at?
Do either of you see excuse me? Do either of you see like a weird dark critter over there? Like a guy in like 6 feet tall, has an almost Australian accent.
What's Australia?
What's wrong with you, mate? You feeling all right?
I thought I healed all his injuries, but you might still be suffering a bit.
Yeah, no, I'm feeling a little weird. Just a little discombobulated. I'll get back to it here in a second.
I'm gonna walk in the direction that he's pointing at.
Okay. You walk in the direction kind of over towards the stairs that led up into the temple. You're trying to keep your balance because you're on a more of an off-kilt angle than you were previously. You don't see anything. You just walk. There's nothing around you. You don't see anything on the ground or in the air. He just walks basically through where this thing appears to be to you.
So I am going to just choose a random direction, stick my hand out and be like, pleased to meet you.
Roll a percentile dice if you've got it.
25.
Oh yeah, he's nowhere near this thing. He's just shaking the empty air.
What is?
Oh, good day. Wow, that's an awesome shirt you're wearing.
What is this dark critter doing?
It's sort of surveying the area around it. It's twitching a bit, and looking at you. Mostly, it keeps glancing over at you. And occasionally, when you look at Bedouin, when you look at Selwyn or Corsic, or you kind of glance around, it's kind of following your eyes.
Following my
looking,
eyes?
like where you're looking, it's kind of like, oh, it's over there, like looking as well.
Like a dog.
I mean,
Yeah. All right. So I will. I can I get both Selwyn and Dark Critter in the same kind of eye line?
sure.
Okay. I wish to do this, and then I'll just kind of look in that general direction with my eyes relatively unfocused, and be like, "How are you doing?" So that my intention is so that both Selwyn and Dark Critter will think that I'm talking to them.
Okay. No. Cool. Yeah.
I mean, I can roll deception or any other thing you want to make
Alright.
it look like that, but
Go ahead and give me a performance or deception. Performance, really.
are you sure it's not deception?
It's not. It's really not. At this point.
14.
Okay. Yeah. So, I'll react for the shadow thing first.
Fantastic.
John will go first. Let's talk at the same time, John. Let's do it on purpose to make Pancho's life miserable.
That's what I was trying to do.
Were you talking to me, Mike?
Fantastic.
Oh, the dwarf, Mike.
The world's a little fucked. But we're still one piece.
I'm feeling a little weird, Mike. If I'm being honest.
This is my favorite thing. All right, just checking.
Things are a bit fucked. You feeling okay?
I'll give one of these.
I think things are a little fucked. Are you feeling okay?
Do you need a hug, Mike?
Yeah. No, it's great.
What's great?
I'll look to Corsic. How are you feeling?
It moves. You notice out of the corner of your eyes, you look to Corsic, that it moves close to you. It kind of
Is it staying in my periphery?
No, it's actually looking. It's actually when you look at it, you can see
Okay.
it. When you glance at it, it'll be there. When you stop paying attention to it, as you just did, you see it kind of flicker as it sort of moves to your periphery. Give me a wisdom.
Oh shit!
Wisdom saving throw. Let's go ahead and call it that. Okay. Yeah, it's a little weird.
Cool.
All right, bud.
Hugs incoming, Mike.
Yeah.
Prepare
All right, bud.
yourself.
We need to go. Good meeting you.
You are shrouded in darkness.
I'm now shrouded in darkness. I can see out.
Yes, you feel this haze cover over your vision, and then you kind of like it just. You know that you're in darkness, but it doesn't really feel like you can see through it. As if the darkness is another medium. You're not ignoring it. It's dark, but it's like a medium that you can see through, which is probably how you're...
So like I have as a class power of being a dark sorcerer, I can cast darkness, and I'm at such a level that I can see through my magic darkness,
Right.
even though other people with dark vision cannot see
It's
through
basically, this feels the same way.
it. Okay. All right. Let's see how they react to this peculiar situation. Because I'm cool being in darkness. It's comforting.
Okay.
Does it look at all like he's in darkness?
Yeah, he's just looking at you, and he's kind of peacocking a little bit. But yeah, he looks fine. Everything's fine. It is getting darker out. You can tell the sun is setting. Evening is approaching. But you feel that you are enshrouded in darkness. You do feel comforted. It feels nice. Feels like a not a warm embrace, but equivalent to a warm embrace.
So I will instinctively, just because, like, get down in kind of a more sneaky position, like a half crouch,
Okay.
like a hunch over. Like if I'm in darkness and I'm trying to sneak, I'm trying to be kind of quiet movement. So, and I'll just kind of say like, hey, we're so what do we do now?
I think we should try and find some kind of civilization. There has to be something out here, but
Well, it doesn't have to be.
I certainly hope there is.
Me too.
Can we all make perception checks to like see if we see any signs of civilization? Otherwise, we're just.
I mean,
picking a
everyone
direction.
else, they both checked
Oh, okay.
and they saw things. If you want to make another perception check yourself and see if you see anything.
That's gonna be a problem. I did not. I got a 9.
Looks like there's nothing around here, Mike. But I feel really weird.
Out of character, this is gonna be my favorite thing now. I just have a sentient pet friend who like knows everything that I know, apparently. So this is gonna be super cool for me.
And my mission is to make it super annoying for him as much as possible. Let me know if it gets annoying to you guys, because I'd also like to. do
Good
that
luck.
As well.
Good luck. This is gonna be fun.
All right.
So I don't see anything. Are we pretty much just gonna pick a direction here, or do we know which way to go to find a civilization or something? Or
Well, it's not like I can ask Eldath anymore. I can't feel her presence.
and I can't ask.
I
I got this. I got this.
got
this.
Call Hada.
I can't ask Kalhada because I gave that up.
Oh, her full name, Call Hada Timberlake.
I can't ask Kalhada because I gave that up. Selwyn, how which direction do you think?
That way.
Good direction as any, I suppose.
I'm gonna walk towards the storm.
All right, so Selwyn, you work your way down the steps.
Yeah.
All right, you work your way down the steps into the sand. You immediately find that it's very difficult to move through.
It's soul sand.
It's just sand, but it's loose sand. And you start kind of trudging towards the storm in the distance. Okay.
Is there a direction that's easiest to walk in? That's easier to walk in?
It does. Based on your survey, it seemed like you couldn't make out anything that looked like a path or a road from your survey. There might be. It's everything looks. You haven't been in terrain like this ever in your life.
Then towards the storm.
Okay. Is everyone gonna follow?
I would suggest waiting till the sun goes down, but it looks like that's already happening. So
Should we really be going towards the storm? That looks like the worst place to go, doesn't it? Why have you chosen towards the difficulty?
It's as good as any direction. Because my friend over there told me to.
Are you going to let this little piece of shit talk for you? Mate, I cannot do an Australian accent, even close. I can't even...
It's fine. It's fine. In my head, it's
What accent
Australian
can
as
you
long,
do?
as long as you keep doing the accent.
Oh. I can kind of talk like Donald Duck.
Okay,
though
do that.
I'm not very good.
Do that one instead. And just say mate at the end.
That one's really hard to maintain
He'll hurt
for
himself
a long time.
Yeah, it's 2 hours. He's gonna kill himself. All right, I'll just start walking.
we could always head to the mountains. With decent chance of finding a river.
I actually feel more comfortable in mountains, personally. I've trekked in cold places with rocks,
I got a bad feeling about the mountains.
but the storm, the electrical, it's looks like a big thunderstorm, right?
It's hard to tell.
But it's clouds and darkness and
You do, are you gonna, if you take some time to watch it for a bit, it does look like it may be an ultra storm. You see like there's some coloration variation. It's way in the distance. Like you're not gonna get there in a day. Not with the way that this road is. No.
All right, it's fine. We need to go somewhere. You
Yeah.
can't just stay here.
we pretty much need to stick together too. So, all right, yeah, I'll start off. Do my boots of the Winterlands give me benefits in difficult terrain in ice or snow? Now, considering that this difficult sand to work through is probably very similar to snow.
Do they work at all in the exact opposite of the climate that they're designed for?
Well, no, they might be a little warm, but I figure they're like big snowshoes.
No.
Are you just wearing snowshoes around all the time?
No.
I don't get a negative. There's no negative. Only positive. Only benefits. I can wear these whenever I want.
They're just fuzzy boots.
Are you just seeing weird fucking alien writings everywhere whenever the wind blows? Oh, look, those 6 sticks together look like some sort of weird effing rune. You have your stupid hat on all the time,
Yeah.
except for when we needed it.
It messes up my hair. It's not a pleasant experience.
Are there? Is it just sand, or is there like stones, or is there?
You just see what you're effectively seeing, at least in the immediate area, is just sand dunes. Okay. You can't make out any other terrain. At least you couldn't.
Does this look like it's a natural terrain, or does this look fabricated?
I mean, suppose give you an insight check. I don't know if that would deceive if you're what you would piece together. You have no idea. You have that thought, and you're like, I have no idea how to tell whether or not.
Yeah.
Unless there was like a cardboard cutout. You don't see anyone moving scenery.
Yeah.
There's no wind machine. So your assumption is that this is natural, just alien to you.
Okay.
You don't really know. None of you have been in terrain like this, really. I don't think even south towards Baldur's Gate you come close to this.
Nowhere close.
Yeah. So the intent is to hike southward?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What are you doing for provisions?
I think that I have a couple. I think I have 4 days worth of travel rations.
Mm-hmm.
So that'll last for a bit.
I
But
was
beyond
told not
that,
to purchase things.
That's not what you were told.
Pretty close, actually. Yeah.
Did you got anybody buy a kit of some kind?
I have a burglar's pack.
yeah, I bought a kit. I bought 2 healers kits.
I have an adventurer's pack, I think.
So you didn't write down what's in there, correct? You didn't put the details of the pack
Correct.
on your sheets. Okay. So what do you? I'll go from Andrew. You have 2 priest packs
Nope, 2 healers kits.
or 2 healers kits.
Yeah.
But no packs.
No packs.
You didn't buy any packs.
I did not.
Not
So-
even PAX East.
Nope.
Packs West. What are we doing?
PAX Unplugged?
Why are we referencing
Any unplugged packs?
Are we getting money from Penny Arcade? Because I would take it.
Give us money.
We're cool guys. You guys are cool guys. We're cool guys. Let's cool guys.
We don't have a. Maybe they would. We don't currently have a way for them to give us money other than.
Hey, can I get $5?
It's just
Like, comment,
grab-
subscribe.
You want to give your home address out? So you just have the healer. So you don't have shit. You're useless.
I have a burglar's pack, and I wrote the contents of it down.
Okay. So what's in your burglar's pack?
1,000 ball bearings.
Oh, less than that. You
I
would
used
use
a handful.
Used a handful.
Minus a handful.
It's like 993 ball bearings.
Crowbar, 10 foot of string, a bell, 5 candles, hammer, 10 pitons, a hooded lantern, 2 flasks of oil, 5 days rations, a tinder box, and a water skin.
Whew. That's amazing. And you have an adventurer's pack?
Yeah, an adventurer's pack and a disguise kit.
Great. Well, disguise kit is great for disguising.
Thank you.
Not particularly useful in this situation. You mean an explorer's pack? For your class.
It's an explorer's pack.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Dungeoneer's pack and explorer's pack. I took the explorer's pack.
True. So the explorer's pack includes a backpack, a bedroll, a mess kit, a tinderbox, 10 torches, 10 days of rations, and a water skin.
There you go.
It also has 50 feet of hempen rope strapped to the side of it.
Good.
So you have a water skin
With
and
water
10
in it.
days of rations.
You're right.
Okay. So what is your current plan as far as you're going to march? You're just going to keep walking non-stop? You're going to try to push yourself to exhaustion, or when do you stop to rest? Or do you stop to rest? Like what is your intention?
I'm not
here?
going to push myself to exhaustion. I'm going to travel the way that we would normally travel.
Okay.
So whatever.
Hopefully till we find
Yeah.
something. Either a place to rest or some kind of civilization or...
Every 20 minutes or so, I'm going to make a mark on the ground to kind of mark where we've been through.
You know that's not going to do anything.
Is that going to do anything?
The
No,
sand is too loose
I
and the wind
imagine-
is too strong.
Are we able to find an optical, like a focal point? Because
Well, right now the sun is setting, so you can use that as a focal point, and then it's a question of whether or not you can navigate by the stars.
well, I
Otherwise-
know
Well-
I know that I've never walked in the desert, but when you're walking in the snow-filled tundra plains, if you don't have a way to keep yourself centered, your dominant foot's just going to turn you the whole time. You'll be walking in a big circle.
Yeah. Do you have any survival skill? Anyone here have survival skill as a skill?
No.
I'm
I do.
it's what my dad told me.
Actually, I have 2, but it's not a class skill. I imagine that, I don't know how flat it is, but I imagine that we're leaving a pretty noticeable trail given how loose the sand is. If we just keep roughly looking behind us, we can see where we're coming from and just keep traveling that line.
Yeah, but if there's any wind at all, it's going to cover those tracks real easy.
I rolled a 16 on
fair.
survival.
Okay. So, Selwyn, you're able to. That's good advice that Bedouin gave. That makes some sense. It makes some sense. It's not really. You're familiar. You've been in the north. You've had some snowstorms. Nothing like a tundra, but you've had to deal with navigating in the snow occasionally. And usually, you have a good visual point of reference to use, tree lines, things like that. There's none of that here. Using the sun, you're able to head in what you believe to be a southerly direction. The terrain doesn't seem to change much. Sometimes there's a big dune, sometimes it's flat dunes. Eventually, you're able to make your way, before sunset, you make your way to what appears to be a flattened road of some sort, a path. So the sand kind of hits what appears to be raised rock that has been, you can see that there actually looks to be on the ground some kind of roadway that's mostly eroded. The sand has cascaded over it, but it's wide enough that the dunes haven't completely covered it up. And it looks like that it may have been traveled. Go ahead and give me a perception or
This looks like the road taken.
or not taken.
I rolled a natural 20.
Oh, you can definitely see that this has been used relatively recently. It looks like it's been moved out. By the way the sand is moving, this definitely, you can see the residuals of some tracks. The tracks that you see though don't look like wagon tracks. Any wagon tracks that you've been familiar with. They're extremely wide, and it looks like they're scraping the ground, the actual stone, which is why you're able to kind of see them. It's hard for you to judge the exact time frame because of how much sand is on there, but it seems recent to you.
But I can see the direction that they were going.
It's just on the road, and the weight distribution, you're not able to make sense of these tracks as far as which direction it's heading. You have no point of reference.
There's no foot tracks.
You don't see any feet tracks
Okay.
that are obvious.
So, and it would it be safe to assume that for something to leave tracks that would not get covered up, it had to be pretty heavy?
Yes, and there's a strange. As you're kind of investigating, there's a strange smell around the tracks, almost like a burnt smell, an odd smell. You're not able to place it. Chemically, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe like something that's burnt. You can't really figure out what it is.
So I'm going to put my face really close to the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Something big was here recently.
Like what? Any idea?
Something big.
Am I still in darkness?
Yes. As far as you can tell, it feels like you're in darkness.
It smells like maybe it was on fire or something.
Is this any kind of smell that we would recognize? Any kind of like incense or anything?
Well, you don't smell anything. You want to go sniff the ground?
Absolutely.
Okay. Give me a perception check.
I'll do it as well.
I imagine
Everyone's
we,
sniffing the ground.
I imagine we both saw him walk up and
Yeah.
give a nice.
Sure.
But I got a 14.
I got an 8.
Okay. No clue at all. You barely smell. You just smell sand. You don't smell anything. Yeah, there is an odd odor to it. You wouldn't say incense. It has more of a mineral tinge to it, but you can't place it.
I take half a glance towards my dark friend.
I'm right here, mate.
Yeah.
Don't worry, mate.
Does he say anything when prompted? Does this discussion prompt anything from him?
No. I feel a little weird, mate. I feel like I'm pulled apart, mate. But then also not pulled apart. Like it feels good. It feels weird and uncomfortable, but good. How you liking the hug?
I'm still ignoring what's going on. As soon as I see that he has no use for information, I'm back to reality.
There goes gravity.
There goes gravity.
Wait. Well, we're making references.
That's not a meme.
All right.
Does it look like the road leads like can I see anything on either end of the road? Does it
No.
look?
You can see that sometimes the sand has covered up more of it than not. Sometimes the road is in places that you can see some of it is crumbled and eroded. It's definitely an old path, and the sand and wind has definitely done a number on it. But no, you're not able to see any other structures on the edge of the road. It just kind of weave between some of the dunes, so you lose track of it out of your current eye line. But it is a road that you could continue down. You also know as the sun begins to set, the flashes in the distance are more pronounced, so you should be able to keep at least the southern horizon mostly in front of you because of that storm.
How long have we been traveling? Like when we get to this road, how much more travel do we have left in a day before we're ready to call it a?
No, as the sun is setting, so you would have traveled for a few hours before you found this road.
Okay.
So you were close to sunset.
So when we get to the road, it's when we would normally break camp if we weren't pressed for anything.
Probably.
Is there anything around the road that any boulders, or is it just a flat road going through the desert?
Yeah, give me some perception checks if you guys want. Are you going to kind of break off and try to find some decent camping site?
Yeah.
I rolled an 11.
Okay.
Natural 20, 24.
Okay. Okay. Bedouin gets swallowed by the sand and dies. So, yeah, Corsic, you're able to find... You head a bit further back. You backtrack a little bit. And around one of the dunes, you actually see some of the sand has been pushed aside, and you do see some rubble.
Like there used to be something built here.
It does look like there used to be something built there. It's like the framework of...
There's like a square box in the ground with the walls used to be.
Somewhat,
in.
yeah, somewhat like that. It's a bit ways off. The sand's kind of built up on it, and it's kind of piling into it as the wind. It's not particularly well covered, but it gives you some shelter. At least you can put your back up against something that isn't loose sand.
Right. I'll call everybody over. Hey, it looks like there used to be some kind of construct here. We might be able to use it for shelter for the night.
How close is it to the road? Can you still see the road from there?
Yes. It's a bit. There's a bit. You can see some of those structures that may have been a wall or fence that kind of probably caught your eye.
Yeah.
But it ways back. It does look like it was probably set off of the road, maybe an inn or a building of some sort or a tower. But yeah, you can keep the road in line of sight. You're only about maybe 100, 150 feet from the road when you find the terrain there to make camp.
Is there stuff to start a fire?
No.
It's all sand and stone.
Mm-hmm.
What's the temperature like?
Well, it was definitely warm. It was cooling off. So it is getting cool, and as the sun is setting, it's getting rapidly cool. But luckily, I mean, you were probably fairly well prepared for that because you were heading into the swamps, and it was getting. You were aware of winter, so between your blankets and things, you probably will be all right. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
If it gets too cold for you.
So someone wears a closet.
Yeah.
At all times. So.
Yeah. It was late summer in the Sword Coast when you headed out on your venture, so I believe I'm correct in that. But we're going to say that's what happened. We'll just retcon it. It's irrelevant.
Nobody's going to watch the first video anymore.
It's irrelevant at this point. We're not on the Sword Coast.
Absolutely.
All right, so you're going to make camp?
Yeah.
All right, everybody healed up? Is that a requirement for you?
I am not healed up all the way.
I'm not healed up at all.
Okay.
Neither am I.
Okay, so then you can make camp. Is this the first time we've actually done an appropriate rest where you had to heal?
A long rest, yeah.
Okay, so on a long rest, you have hit dice.
Okay.
And during a long rest, you can spend your hit dice to regain hit points.
Okay.
Then after a long rest, you recover, I believe, half your hit dice. I forgot how this mechanic worked.
Cool. Figured out.
Now, let me double check because I was going to use optional rules initially when I was thinking about this, so my head is filled with. You don't get any of this stuff back. So
before the hit points from resting, I'm 3 down. So, what are we going to be doing now? We're out in the middle of nowhere.
Well, we're on a road.
We found a road.
We found a road, and all roads go somewhere.
Right. Certainly better than wandering around aimlessly in the sand.
Correct. Now, where the road goes and how long it takes to get there, we're not going to know.
Well, it doesn't look in very good conditions. Chances are it's going to lead to more ruins like this.
Yeah, but you're not going to find a road that's in great condition in loose sand that blows in the wind. It's the same. You're going to get snow drifts on the path too.
I would imagine if it got used with any regularity, there'd be at least some upkeep on it.
It's a freaking rock road. You're going to get upkeep. You're going to get the sand knocked off it by its mad crazy use. But if it's windy, you're still going to get snow drifts on it or sand drifts, dunes.
I'm completely off. I think I'm thinking 4th edition or something, or I was constantly thinking the alternate or optional rules I was going to use. So long rest, by definition, you recover all of your hit points just by necessity, just naturally, and you regain half of your hit dice that you spent if you spent any hit dice.
I didn't.
So you didn't.
Then I will not spend any of my hit dice.
You don't need to spend your hit dice.
Good choice.
And we'll just go with the simple instead of the survival.
Yeah, but I mean, you're gonna get dunes blowing in on any road, especially in terrain like this. I presume if it's anything like snow.
Sure. So I guess in that case, we're just going to keep going until we find somewhere.
I mean, that really seems like the most apt.
It's really the only thing to do.
Yeah. Hopefully, there's a sign.
Just some wooden picket on the side of the road.
I mean, it would be heartening. It would give me hope to see that somebody gave a shit what somebody on this road thought.
That it's not just an endless desert.
Correct. That it's not like a cattle trail or a cattle path or something like that. You know.
Sure. You guys are settling in for the night. How are you making up camp?
We're all like in. Is this like a fully enclosed or somewhat enclosed thing, or is this really just a big rock that we're leaned up against?
It's mostly a big rock. It's not fully. There's no roof at all.
And there's not really any wall.
But there are some walls.
Okay.
There's some built up. So you've got about 6 feet,
so
7 feet of walls.
So I figure I'll dig a little bit into the sand to kind of give myself a little bit, like a little dog hole, because that's what sled dogs do. That's what our sled dogs did in the snow, and it made them feel warm and
You get the full sandworm experience.
yeah. So yeah, and that'll be my little camp spot, my little laying down bed.
Okay. The little laying down bed.
I'm just going to use my bedroll.
Well, yeah, you put the bedroll in it, you goof. Christ.
Well, once you protect yourself from the wind, it's pretty much what the issue is right now, right?
Yeah,
The
Predominantly.
wind. Okay, yeah. So
Before we do that, I'm going to try and find a relatively flat section that I can put down, because there is the remnants of like a stone floor here, even if it's covered in sand, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try and clear off something that's level enough for me to put down my wooden bowl, and I'm going to pour some water in there and wait for the water to still and try and pray to my God over the still pond.
Okay.
You talking to water again?
I may not be able to hear her right now, but don't insult my goddess.
I don't think you're going to get too many refills, so you should be careful with that.
I'm not going to dump it out afterwards.
Speaking of refills, I'm gonna duck out and take a pee.
Okay.
I must not.
You're doing all this beforehand, so actually you haven't recovered your hit points yet, since you're doing this all before you've rested. Just in case you're wondering.
That's a crucial
It is, but
note to make before he sends the wolves.
no worries, you'll edit it out so it sounds like I know what I'm doing.
Well, no, he's yeah, whatever. And then the wolves come. Like,
And the wolves.
Isn't it great that you don't have those hit points now?
Yeah, give me a perception check, Poncho. Or Bedouin.
Cock. Ooh, 14.
14. So you go out to pee, and you're just taking a leak against the sand.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like, okay, it's fun. And then you hear a noise, and it sounds like a little rumble, like a rumble. I'm just gonna do a rumble noise, but I'm not going to. But you hear sounds like a rumbling, slight rumbling, a shifting of sand, and you hear like a hissing noise, and you hear that coming. It's close to you, like something's like moving through the sand close near you, and your attention is diverted because you then hear like this loud rushing of wind and like this of like just something moving through the air that's probably been disturbing what was ever near you, and you see this shape. You can see it barely kind of blocking the stars slightly, and it's massive. And you see this slight glint off of the reflection of the stars, the way it kind of distorts it.
I have crazy dark vision. I can see what the hell this is. This is like daytime.
It is. Well, it's specifically, you have it kind of distorted, so you're not getting a lot of good color. But it's a massive dragon, like massive, and
Like colossal?
like yes, like an insanely large dragon. The thing you make out as it's kind of flying over you, and it's kind of making you see it make kind of a swoop noise, and the rest of you notice this as well.
What's the altitude that's flying over me?
Relatively low.
Like 12 feet or like 60 feet?
No, like over 60 feet.
You should
So
make
we're
a
talking
roll
about-
see if he pees on his feet.
It's it's swooping low, and it's kind of swooping in a direction. So it's coming. It's probably 100 feet up, but its wingspan kind of dip down a bit as it kind of swoops low and on the dunes, and it kind of moves towards a westerly direction, and kind of loops back south and north and west a bit. And you can't make out any color on it at this with your dark vision, but you do make out that one of its limbs is missing. So that's one of its forelimbs is gone. It's just got a stub, and it just the size is larger than anything you even thought dragons could get. You've heard stories. You didn't actually think they got that big. It seemed ridiculous to hear tales of a creature that large. And and you can hear it in the distance. You get a sound of it. It sounds like it's growling. It's making a noise in addition to this swoop. It's not being completely silent. You can't see the two actually have a better vantage point. He's went off to pee. If you want to make perception checks, you can go ahead and do so.
It's a good thing we didn't light a fire.
23.
I got a 9.
So 23, it seems to have been coming from the direction that you came,
Okay.
like from that temple.
Ramsey, and my old dwarven histories were dragons, things that we had great relationships with, and they helped progress things, or were they eating my people and smashing our buildings?
For the dwarven histories, generally dragons are always bad. You have heard stories that there are dragons that are not bad, that are good, but dwarves rarely had encounters with those, so that's definitely not.
So like
the story you've heard.
my dragon, my gut towards dragons is this is a thing that's gonna knock over my house and eat me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I imagine that all the knowledge I had from becoming one with the dragon soul for a bit is completely gone.
Yeah. You're for a second there, it was good, and now you've got nothing.
Now I'm back to being a pleb.
Am I missing a reference there?
No?
No.
No.
Pleb is a reference to the word
Plebeian.
No, the dragon soul thing.
When I dunked my face into the
Oh my
pool
God,
of dragon
I forgot
water,
my game.
dunked my-
I am sorry. I was thinking about your actual character backstory and not the stuff that I ran you through.
No, when he was talking to the water, then he finally shoved his face in it. Does he remember any of the stuff from the
No,
dragon
that's a
stuff?
good point. That's a good point. I forgot all about the fact that could be a thing. Give me.
It's your story.
It is my story, but I forgot.
It was a while ago.
I forgot that could have an effect. So give me. It has been a little bit. It has been a little bit.
It's almost like they filmed it, put it up for wide distribution on the internet.
I'll admit I haven't watched the second or third episodes. So will you go ahead and give me an insight?
Insight? All right.
Yeah, I like that roll. I like using that roll improperly, incorrectly. Makes me happy.
Oh, that's a 7.
Okay. No.
I figured.
Yeah. That was just a bad roll no matter what I told you to roll.
Yeah, that was a bad one.
No. Looks like a dragon. You don't feel any particular connection, or it doesn't seem to jog your memory from that particular vision that you had.
All right.
But I will keep that in mind because it may be important here.
How long have we been resting for?
You haven't really been resting. This is like still settling down for camp. Poncho,
Yes.
roll initiative, please.
Protect from sandworms.
10.
Okay. You are kind of trying not to pee in yourself, looking at this dragon. You heard the noise. You remember that you heard a noise that was startled by it. Mm-hmm. You glance over, and you see that something's moving in the sand towards you. And you see just a shape, like the sand's kind of pushed up and something's like moving directly towards you in an aggressive manner. You can't see what it is, but something's definitely charging you.
How fast?
Fast, like the way you would be able to walk, but it's doing it in sand.
Okay.
And it's a few feet away. But you get to make a reaction if you would like, or do a thing. It's your turn.
How far away am I from the? I guess I chose how far away I walked.
I would say not that far, unless you're weird about peeing.
I would say probably about like 30 feet is fine.
30 feet would probably be the max. You'd be safe. Feel safe.
All right, I'm gonna cast a spell.
Sure.
I'm gonna cast Misty Step. And so I don't need to roll anything. So I see it, and I turn to kind of like I reach into my little pouch, and I turn, and I evaporate in a type of dark mist, which is hard to see in the darkness, but we have high definition, so it should work. Plasma screens, a lot of darks, a lot of blacks, and I reappear in my standing upon my bedroll.
Okay. Sweet.
And I look to you guys, and I'm like, don't go out there.
Shh. Sweet. I would like both Selwyn and Corsic to roll initiative for me.
Sure. Wow. Getting better all the time.
What do you got, Corsic?
I got a 2.
Someone has a 17.
Perfect.
So far, this is Selwyn's game.
I don't have to adjust my list. Yeah. Okay. You're not sure what he's... So, give me a perception check real quick, both of you.
That's a 15.
10.
Okay. You don't hear... He says, don't go out there. You're like, yeah, there was a dragon. But you do hear there is something. You can hear you can barely make out something's moving through the sand, and you can kind of see it even. Some of the sand's kind of dust. There's like a little cloud, a little bit of sand's getting dusted up. Something's moving from where Bedouin was towards your encampment from underground. Moving at a significant pace.
Big, little?
Big-ish.
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 Shootable?
If it's underground, you were concerned that it may not
work.
It's
Underground.
It seems to be under the sand, yeah. You just see sand moving. It's hard to make out.
Doesn't he have a ghost bolt?
That's up to him to know whether or not that's feasible.
Is it owlbear big?
It is, to give you a specifics, it's not owlbear big. It's smaller than that, probably. It's hard to tell, though. It's displacing a lot of sand.
I don't think we were particularly camp. I'm trying to think. I don't think someone really has anything out. Like, I think he just kind of. Did you guys like set up a camp, or did you just stop?
I'm setting up bedroll. That's about it.
Yeah, we're on like a rock. We're on like a hard, like a rocky floor.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys, get your stuff. Let's go. Now.
I don't think we can outrun a dragon.
In addition to yelling that, what are you doing? Because you can take an action.
I am moving in the opposite direction of the thing. Of whatever's coming towards us.
Okay.
Oh, so you just take off.
Yeah.
Full speed?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't do that. I would not do that. I would wait for these guys to start going.
Okay. So what do you actually want to do?
So I think I'm just waiting. I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
That sucks. I'm not doing anything.
I'll start picking up my stuff,
Yeah.
but I'm not on board with trying to outrun a dragon because, as far as I know, that's the only thing that's happening here.
All right, then. So what is Bedouin doing? Punch.
I'm not preparing anything to run. I'm like...
You still see this thing. You can see this thing moving towards you. You only moved 30 feet away from it.
Correct. And it's still moving towards me.
And it was like 10 feet away from you before.
At this point, it is Bedouin's theory that this is some sort of sand ambush predator, and that it is probably more fleet under sand than it is on land, on hard ground, considering that I am standing on a thing that's hard and he probably can't ambush me, I'm going to stay right frickin' here. I'm going full frickin' Tremors graboids on this guy. I ain't moving at all.
Okay, so what are you doing?
I
I know what you're not doing. Thank you.
I'm casting Mage Armor.
Okay. Plop. You were illuminated with magical mage armor. How does that appeal to you? How does it look? Is it as a shadowy armor of shadow?
Yeah, because Mage Armor, it doesn't really tell you.
Make it up.
Yeah. So I am. So considering that Mage Armor is both armor and dexterity, because it just adds to AC, I basically become a bit more billowy, a little more transparent, and a little kind of shadowy, billowy, dark, smoky sort of thing going.
Sweet. Like it.
I'm definitely not illuminated. That's not what the dark sorcerers do.
Illuminated, but with darkness.
With darkness. I am an Asimar though, so maybe there's a little in there, but
Sweet.
I always forget that I'm a creature of light who is a sorcerer of darkness. That's so metal.
Where are you going? So let me give you a description of this for both of you guys who've acted. So this structure gives you about 15. There's about 15 feet of wall, a corner wall basically, that you're pushed up against. You think that the actual ground extends out maybe 25 to 30 feet before it's sand again and then road. Where are you positioning yourselves?
How wide is the wall?
The wall is only about a couple feet.
And how tall is the wall?
Yeah, a little bit over a foot thick.
And then how tall is it?
The tallest point of the wall is about 7 feet, but that's like it's in one section and it's kind of broken, so it's not a full. It's 7 feet down to maybe 5 feet, and then it's nothing.
Okay, so I will stay on the wall.
So back up against the wall.
No, on the wall.
You're gonna climb up onto the wall. Go ahead and give me an athletics check.
21.
Yeah. You scramble up the wall with ease. Where on the wall would you like to be? At what height? You could make your way up as high as you want to the highest point if you would like, based with that.
Sure.
Okay, you're gonna perch up there.
Yeah.
Okay. Poncho, where would you want Bedouin to be?
Bedouin's gonna be. How wide? I'm sorry. How wide is the platform, for lack of a better term, to which we're standing?
So you have about 15 feet of platform that is backed with a wall.
Yeah.
And then you have approximately on one end 10 feet more. So on, let's say, the southern end, it extends for about 10 feet of rock from where you have the rock floor that you can see beyond the wall. And then beyond the wall towards the western end, towards the road end, it extends for about 15 additional feet more that you're able to eyeball as you moved in here.
Okay, I'm gonna try to stay towards the center of this pedestal. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I want to have my back up against the sturdiest wall that I can. Mm-hmm. My intention is, if this thing is so fleet under the sand, this rock pedestal or whatever that we're standing on clearly does not go to the core of this planet, so it can easily go underneath and come up the other side. So I'm kind of trying to stay with my back against the wall. And if there's some sort of defensive stance, I'm like pouncing, ready to freaking bolt as soon as a sand slider or a crate dragon come down from.
Okay. So you can take the dodge action. Effectively, makes you harder to hit. Is that your intent? To be harder to get?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, my intention is not to fight whatever pops up. My intention is to not get caught.
Okay.
I'm gonna Batman off this wall. It's gonna be so cool.
That dragon's gonna come down and just pluck you.
Corsic, you don't get to make a decision because this thing gets you guys before then.
What are you guys doing?
It's moving at speed through the sand.
What?
And you just see it kind of move up to the edge, and you see it kind of hit the rock, and then you see these barbed tentacles pop out of the sand. Several of them, like 2 or 3 that you can kind of make out that are whipping, and they whip towards Corsic. Because of course they do. Of course they do.
Perhaps they're here to offer you refreshments.
What's your AC there, Corsic?
16 without my shield.
All right, well, I rolled a 17 to hit, so I grab you. Several of these things wrap around you, and you take 6 piercing damage as it digs into your flesh.
And I have not rested yet. That's not good.
Yeah, I also need you to make a Constitution saving throw, or like versus a
Constitution, you say?
yes.
9.
9. You feel terrible as you sense a kind of a burning sensation as these tendrils seem to be injecting some sort of poison into your body. As it takes effect,
It is not a disease.
it is not a disease; it is a poison. I'm sorry.
I don't even know if that ability works anymore.
That's a good question. As you feel it take effect, you feel your muscles go rigid, and you can no longer move.
Delightful.
You see these tendrils kind of wrap around it.
How big are
And-
these tendrils?
They're like the length of a human. They're width of maybe a human arm.
Okay.
They're lengthwise, from what you can see, they whipped from you can't really see the body of this creature very well, but it doesn't seem like it has a reach that's going to get to you there. So it's maybe like 10, 15 feet
Okay.
of reach from the edge, unless it pulls itself.
But like the body based on the tendrils is probably human size or something bigger.
Based on the tendrils, you're making an assumption,
Yeah.
but probably not dragon sized.
That's good.
Right. So let's move on to Corsic.
Corsic's planking.
You're planking. You can make a saving throw at the end of your turn, however, to see if you're still paralyzed.
11 this time.
Yes, you're able to shake it off.
Good.
So you're no longer paralyzed. However, you are grappled and restrained by these things. They have dug into you pretty deep. All right, Selwyn. You can see this thing. You can make out the body of a thing. You all have dark vision. You can essentially see there seems to be part of it sticking up out of the sand as it's kind of reaching. It's like it's trying to reach. So there is a body there. You can't really make out what it is. It's still most of the sand's kind of shifting on it as it's kind of pulling itself back and in. And it's kind of struggling with Corsic.
Cool. I'm gonna shoot it.
Okay.
Trying to think if it makes more sense to shoot the tentacle or to shoot the body. I'm gonna shoot the body.
Okay.
I rolled a 19,
That definitely hits.
but I don't get any crazy benefits. So this is just a.
Shoot her.
Is this undead?
It is not.
I'm assuming I did.
You do not count as an ally engaged with it.
But I do get my dex bonus on this, right? Yes.
For damage, yeah, just not your proficiency.
10 points.
bonus. Thunk. You do hear that you take aim with your mystical crossbow. It sails through the air ethereally and strikes the beast, and you hear it kind of react. It makes a squeal noise as it hits, and you then the crossbow bolt, you assume, vanishes and returns to the crossbow itself to rearm itself. However, make a perception check.
I didn't see anything.
Is it, would you roll 1?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. What's Bedouin doing, Puncher? You've got this beast in the sand. Your compatriot is entangled, and Selwyn is firing from an elevated position with this crossbow, and did seem to hit it. And it did seem to react to being struck.
I'm going to cast a spell,
Great.
a range attack spell.
It's fantastic. You're at range, so that works.
Yeah. I am going to cast Ray of Frost, targeting the tendrils that are engrossing my friend.
Chilly.
I don't want to freeze him. I want to.
Trying to weaken the tendrils with the frost.
Well, I figure if this thing lives in the sand, like it has more resistance versus heat, and perhaps that might translate to some sort of weakness to cold in some form or fashion. So
Great inner monologue. Let's go.
yeah. Whoosh. Nope. I guess I should try something. So that was. Do we get a proficiency bonus on these?
No, you get your spell attack bonus.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I
Which
forgot
would
where I
be,
went.
there's a whole different calculation. It should include.
So 4, 6, 11.
Yeah, you missed.
No shit.
You just couldn't get. Tendrils were moving too much. You're trying not to hit Corsic.
Yeah.
Couldn't quite land it.
Cool.
This thing is going. So it is going to actually drag at you. Corsic, you feel yourself being dragged towards the body of this beast. And you could see it as you're getting dragged. It kind of, part of it kind of is revealed underneath the sand, and it's like a beak. You can see like a beaky maw. That's actually pretty large. You can see the creature itself is actually fairly large. Maybe not as big as a full-grown owlbear, but close. And this beak is massive. But the body of it doesn't seem to mesh up with it. So it tries to beak you with its beaky beak. It's a technical. You want to just kind of look over the screen there for that natural 20 that I rolled, because that was a natural 20. The red die. I'm really sorry. I don't like to cheat my players, though.
I'm gonna get eaten by a land
That's
squid.
sweet. You don't have to worry about how your powers act in this way.
So let me roll some damage for you. It takes a bite into you and practically. Oh, it's a natural 20, so that's way more than that. 15 points of piercing damage as it bites down onto
Well,
you.
I'm at 0.
Okay. So, and you just see Corsic go limp in this creature's maw.
How negative can I go before I die?
It won't affect. Well, yes. If it continues to eat you, your hit point max.
Ramsey might need to make new character art for this arc.
So that's fun. Corsic, you would need to go. I would need you to make a death saving throw, please, for me.
I'm not dying.
Cool. Well, is it one
Passed.
success?
Passed.
Okay, so you need to do 3 of those, and then you.
Yep.
Well, actually, it won't matter because you're going to automatically fail.
Because every time he hits me, yeah.
Yeah.
Every time he hits me, I take 2, right?
It's going to be really bad. It's going to be real bad. Okay.
So I think very strongly. Wow, this is a nice dream.
So cozy.
You do actually, when you are unconscious, Corsic, and you are dying because it's eating you, but you feel lost. Like you have a sense that this is not what you would hope to feel as your life is ebbing away. There's no handhold. There's nothing there.
There's no inner peace.
You're reaching out for your goddess, and it's not there. However, what you feel that's there is this discordance. You feel like it's just everywhere above you and around most of you is just like burning fire and hailstorms and cackling laughter and sobbing and joy and fear and passion and all these crazy emotions. It's just everywhere. It's just a cacophony as you're trying to reach out. That's what you get back. It's just craziness, and then you can start to kind of piece out bits of it. It's like, well, maybe it's not crazy. It's just very different. It's not ordered in the way that you expect the universe to be ordered. And you do hear the thing that disturbs you the most is a quiet that feels like it's coming from below, like deep, deep below. The quiet is familiar to you, but it's incredibly unsettling. It feels
It's
like what
peaceful,
you're familiar to,
but in a weird way.
but in a very like an
unsettling
queasy,
manner.
Unsettling. It's not even really peaceful. It's just familiar. It's like a familiar expectation of order, but it just feels icky. It feels off. It just feels uncomfortable. Okay, Selwyn.
Am I close enough to Corsic to attempt to grab him? Like, can I make it to him and start to pull in the opposite direction?
You could.
Doesn't matter if I am or not. You decide whether I am. That's a course of action that I'm going to.
All right, it would take 2 of your movement to get to him, because you would have to leap down, and he is, well, no, what did you do? 25 feet of movement as a dwarf. Mm-hmm. So you'd have to leap down, and then he is now at the edge and that would put him about 25. I mean, you could do it. Give me an acrobatics roll to see if you can do this,
think
because you can
somewhere-
make a leap and
I
you can
think
get some.
I have running. I'm not running jump. I'm jumping from that thing. Okay, you said what, athletics?
You
or
can give me an acrobatics roll to see if you just
Acrobatics.
lose your shit when you land.
Ooh, that's not a good roll. It's a 15.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're able to leap down. You keep your footing and keep your momentum. You kind of stumble a little bit, but there's really low center of gravity, so you're just like a bowling ball. So you continue forward and you get to him. So I will allow you to make a strength check to free him from these tentacles if you would like.
Just strength. Just
It's strength athletics.
okay. Athletics. That's good. Strength
I'd
is
say
just
you're allowed
plus
to
3.
try to pull
Athletics
him
is
out.
plus 7. 17.
17. Yes, you're able to yank him free of these tendrils and this beaky maw, and it's just like it's just like pulling out meat.
Yeah.
And the things just, you can see the snapping maw.
Cool.
Yeah,
so
right now.
I'll chuck him on my shoulder and I'll stay there exposed.
Okay. All right. Bedouin is up next.
All right. I've had enough of this graboid shit. I'm going to cast another range attack spell, and hopefully this works. So I'm gonna.
Are you gonna make him buggy?
No, that's not a range attack spell. I'm gonna open up a little bit of myself to the darkness that I'm feeling.
I'm here for you, mate.
Uh,
I got your back, mate.
so I'm gonna cast Chaos Bolt
Oh yeah.
at this thing.
I mean, it's not quite a dark spell, but I preferred if you'd chosen something a bit more dark.
I don't have a darkness.
Dark chaos
Maybe
bolt.
cold. Cold would have been appropriate. You're from the north.
That's true. I'm gonna use Chaos Bolt because cold doesn't do very much.
I don't like it. We'll have to talk about this.
Hey, I might actually hit! Holy shit! 20!
A 20 definitely hits it.
Yeah!
So give me some chaos on that chaos bolt. What are we looking at?
Okay.
Hopefully it's the one thing it's immune to.
1, 2, and 1 of these. All right. So Chaos Bolt. I rolls 2d8 and a d6, and I'm going to choose the orange d8 to determine what damage type it is.
Sure thing. Is all the damage the same damage type?
All the
Yeah, 'cause-
damage is the same single damage type.
Okay.
Correct. So I'm basically like I'm starting to fucking rage out a little bit, show some teeth, angry, and my
If anyone was looking, like everything gets dark
fine.
around you.
And my blonde hair is getting a little bit ashier, and I hurl 15 points of psychic damage at this thing, which, by the way, is the easiest damage to see, especially in darkness.
Well, no one's looking at you anyway.
That's true. I'm looking but yeah, he
and how much? I'm sorry. How much was it again?
15 points of psychic damage.
You see it. You see this thing, Selwyn, just like reel back, and it's just like as if it's being attacked, and it's like tendrils are trying to grab it at its own head. Doesn't know what it's doing. You're like, what? It's just freaking out.
Quit hitting yourself.
It's the thing's turn now. Well, it's going to try to attack this dwarf that's right in front of it. Oh, no. Your AC is higher than 8, isn't it?
It is.
All right. So it attempts to attack you and misses. It's too distracted by this psychic energy that's just tearing at its mind. And then you can see as you look at it, it looks like it's mostly mind. It's got this weird, it's this big bulbous thing kind of popping out in a beak. All right. Corsic? You can go ahead and give me another check. A little save and throw.
20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're at
rolled
1 hit
20.
point.
Yes.
You wake up.
Huh.
A little bit of that experience, or maybe a little residual psychic energy, brought you back out. And now you're in the warm, comforting embrace.
Oh, am I
of
dead?
Selwyn.
I'm being carried around by a short person. I must be dead.
I like to think he has you like draped over his shoulder like a bit of a fireman carry.
It's
I'm
exactly
just
what-
dragging across the
Like
ground.
your head is hitting the ground as he's walking.
He is exactly on a fireman's carry.
Selwyn?
That put me down.
All right. I am going to take Corsac and jam him down this thing's beak and see if he chokes. No, I'm going to make back to the wall.
Okay. It's going to get an opportunity attack as you. Oh, you can disengage.
disengage.
You can disengage and do it. You've got actual the bonus action to
Yes.
disengage as a rogue. All right, so you were able to slink back against the wall. What's Bedouin doing? This thing is still particularly alive, but as it's flailing, you can see that it can't reach unless it pulls itself up out of the sand. It can't reach you guys back up against the wall.
Is it? Does it seem incredibly distraught?
No,
No.
not incredibly distraught. No,
Okay, but pretty distraught.
it's really hard to make it out. It has no facial features.
It's got high self-esteem.
Well, I presume it's making
It's
noise.
flailing like a creature.
Yeah.
I mean, what the shit? Yeah, let's do it again. I'm gonna try. I'm gonna. It worked well the first time. I'm gonna delve into my darkness and throw another chaos bolt at it.
It's your thing. Now that people are watching.
Yeah.
Be more flashy this time.
Hey, I definitely hit. That's like 25 or something.
Absolutely hits.
Nah, it's like 23, but still. Boop boop. Let's do the orange one again. Ooh, it's not as many. Okay. So this time the as I throw my hand out, a bubbly green spike flies out, and I do 9 points of acid damage.
You get splashed with acid and it kind of recoils back. You see smoke billowing up from its flesh. It's still very much alive, however. On its turn, it kind of like you can see it kind of moving around on the edges and trying to figure out, it's flailing out its tentacles and it can't reach any of you. Corsic, on your turn, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna right myself and try and make my way over to my shield so I can get some sort of defense against this thing.
Okay.
I don't let him. He's in my arms. Here.
Let me down.
No, you stay there.
He got his hands out. He's like trying
I can't tell if you're being serious.
I'm
No.
not being serious.
Okay.
Just cradling. I know what's best for you. Let's just. No, I'm gonna take a dodge action and walk over to where my shield was.
Okay. And pick up your shield.
Yeah, I don't want to get grabbed again because I can't afford to at
Right.
this point.
Absolutely. Okay. Okay. All three of you give me perception checks.
Shit.
18, 19.
16.
Natural 20.
Okay. Everyone hears, like, you can hear in the distance, like, this weird rumbling noise. And it's just this odd, like vibration noise in the distance. And you see this thing kind of, like, trying to reach out or get at you. He's still trying to, like, move it around, looking for a way to move underneath so he kind of disappear. But you can still tell it's on the edges, periphery of this. It's moving its way over. You think it's maybe moving its way to the backside now. Bedouin, since you rolled your natural 20, it is definitely a noise that is approaching. It's getting closer, and it's coming from the roadway. And yeah, that's pretty much all you do. It's definitely a rumbling, almost like a roar.
Okay, so
And it's getting
Does
loud. It's definitely
do-
coming towards you.
do I think it sounds similar to that grumble of that dragon that was flying overhead earlier?
No, you would think it could be misconstrued as similar, but it's definitely distinct. It doesn't sound like any animal you've ever heard or creature.
Well, shit. All right, what happens next?
Okay. So Selwyn, it's your turn.
Can we tell that sound was coming from the road?
You can't.
We can't? Okay, then I'm going
can't.
to shoot the thing.
Sure. Give me a shot.
That is an 11. No, it can't be an 11. That's a 12. 13.
13 hits. Give me some damage.
What? No fucking way.
Yes way.
Does he backstab? No, no one's engaging him,
No.
right? Okay. You sure? That is 8 points of damage.
8.
8. That's a nice round number.
It does, and it screeches in terror. What is Bedouin doing?
I'm going to turn and look towards the road and see if I can see what's coming at us.
Okay, so you're keeping your eyes focused. You're ignoring this creature and keeping your eyes focused on the road.
You already said that he couldn't reach me, so yes, I'm going to turn and see what's coming from the road.
There you go. Okay. This thing, it looks like it was moving. It's hit, and it looks like it was moving towards go around behind. And it does. It kind of goes behind the wall, so you can no longer see it. It's no longer exposed.
Convenient.
Yeah, and you don't know really where it is, but you can sort of hear the movement in the sand. Corsic?
I'm gonna go ahead and.
What the hell was that? I got a pivot for my whole turn?
That's what you said you were doing.
said you were doing.
I asked you what you were doing. Are you doing anything? He's like, no, you're going to watch the road and make sure nothing's coming.
I didn't say
and you're
that
not
at all.
gonna fight it.
You asked, what
exactly
do
what
you
you
do?
said.
He's like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm going to turn and see what's coming at us. He's like, this is what was coming at you. Anyways, I got a pivot.
I gave you the opportunity.
You didn't.
I was like, nothing's coming. Are you just that what you're doing? You're just going to
Clearly, I
devote all
wanted
your
to know
attention.
what was there so I could choose my movement and my action.
I don't know.
A pivot is not a movement. I get a 5-foot step.
I
probably.
also got that you were waiting to see.
Andrew, are you going to vote? What's your interpretation of his turn? Two of us say that it was pretty clear that he was just paying attention to the road and making sure he was ready to react to whatever's coming around.
That was my
Seems like a
interpretation
hold
as well.
action or something like that. Yeah, so you're done. So it's Corsick's turn. That's how we roll here. Democracy until I just decide it's not, and then it's my say. What I say goes.
I'm gonna pick up my shield and then I'm going to draw my sword.
Okay, and you're just staying defensive?
Yep.
Okay. You can all pretty much tell where it was going. So there's a possibility of it coming up and over the sand on the wall. However, before you kind of act your sense of it, you don't notice it. You just you would expect to kind of see something, you see nothing, and then that noise is getting louder. It's definitely close. Now everyone can kind of hear that it's close. What are you doing? You don't see this creature.
Is it coming from the road? The sound?
It does sound like it's coming from
All right. Everyone get to the road. And I haul ass to the road.
Okay. What do you do, Valen?
You said a creature or a sound of no creature I've ever heard before is coming from the road and coming at me.
Correct.
And so his solution is to run towards that creature or that thing.
That is what just happened. Yes.
No.
What are you doing? I don't care what you think.
I'm
someone's doing. What are you doing?
making sure I understand what's happening.
Yes, that is what's happening.
I am. It's coming at. I don't want to run at the thing making grumbling noises. That sounds like a foolhardy.
Bro, monsters don't use roads.
No. I am going to. I'm going to use my my dark sorcerer power, and I am going to spend all my sorcerer points, and I am going to shroud myself in magical darkness.
Okay.
You're going to miss the bus.
This beast does not seem to do anything. Corsic, you're ready to defend yourself. Selwyn, around the corner of this dune, you see what appears to be a cart, but with no horses.
Is it the number 8 bus? Are we going to the mall?
You don't know what a bus is. It is a little reminiscent of the double-decker carriages that are used in Waterdeep, except much smaller. It's definitely raised up. It is moving and shaking much like a carriage would. It's the wheels that you can see are very wide, and they're scraping and digging up like sparks on the road. But it is a four-wheeled conveyance of some kind, and there's like a tarp or some sort of awning over it, but it's otherwise open to the elements except for like a glass, kind of a transparent.
How fast is it moving?
Fairly fast. Faster than you could walk, definitely. It's moving. It's coming, barreling kind of towards you, and the only thing you can make out from the driver is you just see like something is peeking up over this thing, the shield, and it's like a red hat that's kind of billowing in with feathers. Is the only thing you can kind of see.
Am I on the road?
You are adjacent to the it's wherever you want to be.
So I want to be in the middle of the road.
Okay.
With the intention of attempting. Oh man, this is either going to be awesome or this is going to be fly meets windshield. Those are the only two things that can happen.
Okay.
That is the intention.
Sure thing.
So I'm going to try to wave it down, prepared to jump I would like to say out of the way, but that's not jump on.
Okay. All right.
Bus.
So what is your actual? Okay, so what is your actual intention here? You've got this odd, loud vehicle of some sort coming at you on this road. You're standing in the middle of the road, and you're going to leap onto this
My
thing.
intention is to try to make it stop, and if it doesn't stop, initially I was thinking it's more practical to jump out of the way, but less awesome. So I'm going to try to jump on it.
All right. Give me. How are you going to try to make it stop? Just by your existence?
Yeah, just by being in the middle of the road. Hey!
I'm a short guy in the dark.
He is a short guy in the dark.
But I'm wearing the world's loudest ponchos.
That's true. Give me a persuasion roll, please.
I think I could give them a run for their money.
Oh, no, not that one. Do you mean an athletics roll? What if I'm doing flags? Hey, it's natural 20.
Holy shit! All right, I'm gonna give myself advantage on this then. All right, so you go, hey, what do you say? Just hey, stop.
Yeah.
Okay, you see like a little like the little red hat I mentioned before with the feathers sticking out of it kind of pops up a little, and you hear a shout like whoa! You barely hear that over the roar of the engine.
We didn't.
Was that woo with an Australian accent?
You want me to look so you can get some fraternity here, or
So you see it kind of you hear like there's some movement and there's a crank, there's a screeching, grinding noise, and the vehicle starts to it starts to immediately try to decelerate and it starts sliding. It just hits and just sparks are shooting up on the road you see like these wheel things are kind of like buckling and cracking and cranking, and it's trying to stop, but the momentum is too great. It's coming right at you. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw. Wait, are you attempting in this case? I'm sorry. Are you trying to dodge out of the way, or are you attempting to jump onto it? Given the situation that it's in now.
I think I'm still trying to jump on it. I set a course of action, although I should be trying to get out of the way.
What is your instinct now that this thing is barreling down?
Well, my instinct is to get out of the way, but I should jump on it.
Well, you're going to have to make a role-playing choice here. Does Selwyn react by instinct or by careful? Does he?
He reacts by instinct. God damn it!
So he's going to try to. Yeah, so give me a dexterity saving throw.
23.
Okay. Yes, you leap out of the way of this creating contraption as it comes to a stop about 10 feet after the space that you are in, and kind of just goes. And you see the whole body of this thing kind of shake. It's hard to shake, and now it's basically facing you again. The way that it's spinned on the road, and you can still hear like a hiss, just this constant like. You see like just smoke and like billowing out from weird vents on this thing, and you can see the driver kind of pop up, and you really all you see is this wide-brimmed red hat, and you see several feathers sticking out of it. One is clearly some sort of peacock feather. I don't know if your characters will know what that is, but that's what it is. And another larger plumed feather, just kind of stuck willy-nilly into this thing, and you can't really make out a face underneath it, but it just kind of pops up, and there's like something underneath there.
There, are you okay?
Are you okay? Didn't have a. Let me do that again.
Oh my God, we found Grover.
I thought it was a dog from Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp.
Are you
I
near
gotta hold on.
or far?
Let me just go on.
Near or far?
Let me just go on record that Grover is my favorite Sesame Street character. So there was a time when I tried to do a Grover voice.
Is that why you adopted his haircut?
Wouldn't it be great if we just got ourselves proper Muppets and learned how to properly puppeteer, and we were just Muppets on camera, not us?
That would be pretty cool. The only thing that I can think that would
Near. Far.
the things that I'm thinking that could make Ramsey look more like Grover are like one far redder lip than the rest of his lips, which would be weird, or a weird egg-shaped kind of
Proboscis?
proboscis, which would also be weird.
Maybe if we do a Halloween episode, I'll do a Grover.
Yeah.
Great digression.
What was that?
Shut up. He's
And take 2 on the voice.
No, clearly not.
Can you do a Honduran accent?
I think we might.
Near.
Shut up. You see a little form jump out of the side of this thing, kind of hop down, and it's small, shorter than you, Selwyn. Dressed all in kind of flamboyant red robes that kind of are flipping in the breeze, and like, I should ask, are you okay? He's dusting himself off. It starts kind of hobbling towards you.
Sort of. Although I think my friend might be dying, but I'm okay. Where are we?
You're on the side of the road.
The side of the road where?
There. Near the side of the road. Your friends are far from the side of the road. I'm sorry, do you not know where you are?
I don't think we do.
How is that possible? It's not a safe place to be lost.
Well, I don't know if we're lost. We just don't know where we are.
Your friends don't look dead. They look quite spry.
Oh, they do.
Oh, we're no longer fighting the graboid. Is the graboid still fighting?
It hasn't shown up to our knowledge.
You don't. Nothing has come.
Okay. I'm a little hesitant about it, but I'm shrouded in darkness. So
You see, when we woke up this morning, we were someplace else.
That's odd. Where were you before?
Someplace really far.
You see him kind of grab his
What would we would refer to it as what? Faerun? What would we refer to our area as?
I mean, it
Sword
depends on
Coast?
where you think you are.
What would we refer to it?
It would. You are from the Sword Coast or Waterdeep. That's how you would generally. You would refer to your local. You would refer to like I'm from Florida. You would assume you would. I don't know what you would assume you are. Where you would.
Well, like I'm assuming that we are not some place where the sun is not blue and the sky is not silver.
Oh. Okay. And you see as he's kind of moving closer to you, kind of bouncing back and forth on both his feet. And as it gets closer, you see him kind of like take his hat off and kind of dust it off, and he kind of like rubs his head, and it's bald. It's completely bald, and he's got white wispy hair that's tied back into a ponytail, and he has pointed ears. You can see peeking out from underneath what looks to be like some sort of blindfold wrapped around his eyes. He has clearly something that's actually covering his entire face. Well, eyes. You can't see how he could possibly have seen, and he was just, as you assume, maybe was somehow driving that contraption. Large, big, kind of a largish nose, and he just kind of scratches his head. He's like, "That's an odd thing to say."
It's even an odder situation to be in.
So currently you're on the side of a road. I call this the Lost Road, but I think it had a name prior to that. And you're in the Desert of Ways. Does that help you?
I guess. Where's the closest place to get some food and a night's rest?
Oh. Well, depends on the direction you're headed. There's a coastal town possibly a few days drive from here. It'll probably take you a bit longer on foot. I don't know how welcome you'd be. Depends on your leanings. He kind of tilts his head towards you.
Towards me?
You and the rest of you. I don't know what the rest of you guys haven't really done a thing.
You mean just him?
Just him. He can see you. Well, you're with. I don't know if he can see you, but you can see him. He just ran to the road, and he's on the side of the road.
I know.
So you can,
I know. I'm just saying. My darkness lasts for like 10 minutes.
I'm not really getting what you mean by leanings. Again, we're not super familiar here, so you can speak freely with us.
give me a persuasion roll.
You mean athletics? That is a 7.
Okay. Bedouin, what are you doing?
Shit. I'm gonna start walking towards the car, but my darkness is still up.
Sure.
So
So a big globe of darkness is floating towards it.
pretty much.
You give me a perception check.
12.
12? Yeah, your little shadow friend, you don't feel him near you anymore. It seemed like he was there during the fight, and like just moments ago, he just was like, whoop, not there. You don't feel him. You don't feel his that weird, spooky embrace.
Not in the darkness.
Not in the darkness.
Freaking weird.
Yeah. Not when you cast the dark. Well, it's kind of around that same time. You're not sure. Just all of a sudden, you don't notice him. So you're gonna move just kind of slowly in your big giant globe of darkness.
I'm how far
Normal pace.
how far away from the road were we?
Maybe like it was like 30 feet or so. Well, probably more like 60 feet in total.
Cool. I will move my speed. I'll just move 30 feet towards the road.
He's gonna move normal speed towards the road. You're not gonna run.
Correct.
Sure. And then Corsic, what is Corsic doing?
Corsic is going to cautiously fish a potion of healing out of his backpack, and keeping an eye on his surroundings, take a nice long drink.
Okay.
He's not quite secure enough to go traipsing across the sand, even if his companions have done so relatively unscathed.
Okay.
What's the name of this land?
You mean we're in the desert of ways?
Does that mean anything to me?
No, that's not a phrase you've heard before.
I'm pretty well traveled, and I've never heard of this place. And that doesn't
I got a 6.
concern me as much as I find it interesting that we speak the same tongue.
That is interesting. What tongue are you speaking?
What would you call common? English.
There is. I don't really remember off the top of my head. There is a what the common tongue is probably called in Faerun, but okie dokie.
Lingua franca.
Lukala. Oh, he looks at you. He's like, "Well, you're not speaking Dwarvish."
But I can.
Yeah. I've got a good ear for languages, though. I hear a lot of them.
Do you? Excellent. What's your name?
He's like, "Pardon me. That was rude. I almost killed you." And he kind of puts his hat back on and straightens it. And he kind of does a little bow. He goes, "I am called the Gnome."
Good to meet you, the gnome. I will also bow. I'm Selwyn.
Selwyn, it's a pleasure.
I appreciate you not killing me.
It's only polite.
What power is this contraption that you have?
You're not familiar?
Nope. Where I'm from, vehicles are pulled by pack animals. Pack animals?
Close.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Certainly. That's a common practice. How did you end up here? You woke up here?
We came out from, I'll point from where the ruins are. We came out from an area over there.
Oh. What specific kind of area?
Some sort of temple, maybe? Temple or ruins or something of that sort?
So, were you living in the temple?
Nope. Robbing it. I
Okay.
mean, exploring.
Sure. All right. And then how did you happen upon it?
We went through the swamps, went down into the bowels of the temple. Temple bowels? That sounds gross. The bowels of the temple, and we came back out on this end.
We went in the bowels and came out with some shit.
Huh. That is odd. That is quite odd. What are you doing? Either of you doing? You've drank your potion.
And I'm going to make a quick dash across the sand over to the road.
Okay.
I will continue my the rest of my movement to the road near the car.
You've got some interesting companions.
I do.
I suppose as I approach the car, I drop the darkness.
Okay. He does. You see the thing. He kind of tips his hat at you when you drop the darkness. Tips his hat at Corsic as he runs up to catch up.
Yeah, jump on the road, turn around real quickly.
Do an action pose.
Looked like staring out into the sand. When there's nothing there, slowly relax.
You all seem a bit on edge.
Yeah, there's some sort of tentacled beast that came upon us, and a dragon.
Oh. He makes a little exclamation when you say a dragon. And like, so you saw Blitzenthrax.
Is that the dragon or the tentacled thing?
The tentacle thing is some sort of graboid beasties. They probably got scared away by the sound of my wagon. But
If we walked without rhythm.
I don't get your reference. Sorry, what? No? Okay, thanks for just derailing my thought process entirely.
What a dick move that was, right?
Super dicky.
Right?
Super the dickiest dickish.
He's learned. He'll never do it again.
Absolutely never. Won't happen again.
My knowledge of dragons is that they tend to eat your friends and knock over your towers. Is that the case here?
I mean, I suppose they would knock over towers if they had the need. They usually have most of the towers, at least in their lands. And they do have a foothold, so luckily Blitzenthrax wasn't able to get what it wanted.
What do you think?
Well, it didn't really stop. It just
Pro-
kind of flew by.
He probably wanted a new foot.
Out of just pure academic curiosity, did you find anything interesting in those ruins?
We did find something interesting. However, we were not able to get it, and we have no access back to the ruins.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did, but that was weeks ago. We don't remember.
Deception?
Am I being deceptive?
Yes.
It wasn't weeks ago.
Are you lying?
No, I meant in real life. It's been weeks ago. That was a 14.
It feels like it's been ages.
Oh, sounds like you've had a harrowing experience.
Probably had a harrowing experience, but
I said that.
sounded like you're talking about fish.
Well, some of us have odd accents.
You don't say.
And sometimes those accents come and go. I mean, inexplicably.
Do you think you could help us with transport?
I suppose I could. Depends on where you're headed.
Not here.
Somewhere not in the middle of a desert would be much appreciated.
It'd be nice to get someplace, maybe resupply, get our bearings.
I don't know if we have anything that we could offer you in return, but it would be much appreciated.
Well, You say you're not from around here.
Nor close.
So, could you give me a little bit more info before I invite you to tag along? And also, I've only really been introduced to Selwyn.
I am Bedouin. I come from
The land down under?
I am Bedouin. I come from the land of the ice and snow. And I mean, I'm just out here sorceling.
Okay. And you're, you see him kind of like, as if he doesn't know, his eyes are covered, but he leans in to kind of look at Corsic, with some detail. He's kind of like looking you up and down.
The name's
like,
Graves. My name does not come with any kind of musical accompaniment.
Graves, the referencer. Well met. You are certainly not from around here.
No.
He kind of
This
takes some
is-
paces towards you.
No, much of this land seems alien to me. I don't feel quite right.
No, you wouldn't.
And it's not the gaping wounds on my all over my body.
You do seem to have lost a lot of blood.
Yeah, the graboid thingy. That's a vicious beast.
Ah, they're troublesome.
Yeah. But it seems to have gone, and I'm thankful for that.
Mostly they're pests.
Yeah. I saw that.
So he sort of just surveys and looks at the three of you. He's like, so how did you happen out into the desert?
Well, we went in from a marsh, went into the building, and then came out of the building, and we were in a desert.
How did that happen?
I think we came out the wrong door.
That does happen. You need to choose the right doors. He does this little, taps his head.
That must be it. Must have gone through the wrong door.
It's very important. You should keep that in mind.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know if that's necessarily true. I think there might be something a little more. It's fine, but we need to. I want to get out of this desert as quickly as possible.
look. So, what does marsh mean in your tongue?
A place covered in water.
There's not one of those around here.
Picks up a handful of sand. You don't say.
No, Corsic. Let's not be let's not be rude to our potential friend here.
Corsic's a little on edge.
How far are we from Waterdeep?
Water. Well, you're a few days ride from the sea. That's some deep water.
Have you heard of a city called Waterdeep?
No, can't say that I have.
Well, we have come a very long way indeed.
Have you heard of a region called the Sword Coast?
No.
Perhaps the door we went through the world or something.
Oh.
Or maybe we're in like a beer. Or Toril. Whichever one we weren't in.
Well,
I think it was a beer. Was the
Are we in a beer? Have you heard of a beer?
well, yes, of course I have.
Like the region of beer.
But it's the world.
Cool.
What's the opposite world?
Are you speaking of Toril?
That's
kinda
where we're
chuckles.
from.
Yeah, we're from Toril.
That adds up.
Does it?
Well,
Is there a lot of transit between the beer and Toril? Because we'd really like to get on a train.
There's not. Question: while you were in that temple, did you happen upon any blue stone of sorts? Kind of a glowy.
I think we did, right?
That's
Out of game.
there was a big black dragon statue.
well, that's the stuff that was like from the mage shards or whatever it was, the rift shards or whatever they were, right? That were in the same room along with the giant Dargan and the.
You did see some spell scar.
Yeah.
Spell scarring, but not like a separate stone that was. But it was blue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We saw some stuff that kind of fits that description. Why do you ask?
I thought you were going to talk more. And then my coaster did not cooperate with me.
Well, when we were in that room, there was a lot of things. There was a giant dragon statue. There was there was a stick There was a blood pool. There was. Are we ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks. I was just John was falling asleep at the table.
I was not falling asleep. That's just a
just-
relaxed pose.
So I was
was
making a mock. I was doing it back at him.
He was playing Hearthstone in his head.
Like, yeah, okay, but nothing that you picked up and brought.
We did not necessarily leave through the door. We were more aptly pushed through the door. Or dumped through the door.
Well, you're probably lucky that you wandered off a bit because Blitzenthrax was not too happy that he couldn't get in there. So there must be something that he would have found important. Well, I can certainly offer you a ride to my destination. I don't really feel like going off the beaten path. That's what you're looking for, but I don't. It's not my habit or custom to offer free rides. So some sort of exchange of goods and or services would be required.
All right, let me just ask you some questions here too, since you're kind of grilling us. I kind of want to do a little grilling back. Is this guy actually like short? Is he like a gnome short?
Yes,
Oh, cool. And he calls himself the gnome.
the gnome.
So where were you going? Where are you going? I should say.
Well, heading south.
Doesn't matter. It's not here. What do you need from us?
Well, generally, some sort of exchange of goods would be useful. Do you have any particularly interesting items, or
I have almost 1,000 ball bearings.
Do you accept gold?
I mean, I could. I'm not particularly interested in gold.
Just strange trinkets?
Possibly.
I have one thing that might potentially be interesting. I'll fish out the silver holy symbol to a god that I don't know,
Okay.
and I'll show it to
Nice.
him. How about this?
Oh, interesting. Well, what is this?
Can you tell me? To me, it appears to be some sort of religious artifact, long lost to time.
He found it in the dragon temple we were in. It appeared to be left by somebody.
Give me a deception roll.
Yeah. Okay.
Better that you do this. I'm not good at deceiving.
Yeah. Heyo. What? 21.
Whew.
So, you say this. He goes, I don't know why you're lying to me, but I can tell.
Is that not where we found it?
He's a liar. He doesn't have any control over.
I've had that symbol for
Oh yeah.
a very long time.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not lying. I'm just wrong.
Oh, that happens. Most people are.
We've been dealing with a lot today.
Yeah. It's been a hell of a day.
Tell you what. That's an interesting item you have, but it doesn't seem to match the items on your personage.
No, I worship a different deity.
Oh,
It's a goddess
curious.
Eldath.
Right. So, what's that?
She is the god of peace and tranquility.
Oh, wow. Looks at you guys. That sounds incredibly boring.
He talks to water.
Oh, that makes sense.
Here's a weird thing. Sometimes it appears to answer back.
No, that's a
I know,
character.
I know. I'm just letting it sit.
Yeah.
Like,
Did we ever? Did Corsic ever realize that the water wasn't talking back?
no.
No. Nope. Didn't happen. Didn't.
Well, I think there's a tale tied to that, so that's interesting. How about the two of you?
Oh, if it is a tale that you wish, I ask in Celestial if he understands me,
Okay.
because he did say previously that he was hip on the languages.
He kind of sits there and he kind of looks and he's like, No. That seems familiar. But no. That's odd. That's interesting.
Did I just ask a question if he could understand me and he said no?
Maybe he can pick up the general meaning.
I asked again in Celestial, are you being funny?
Like, that's so weird. Huh. Huh. Yeah, that's interesting enough. How about you?
Yato!
Yeah, I'm just kind of making sure these two knuckleheads don't get into too much trouble.
You don't seem to be doing a very good job of that.
You're not dead.
What else you got?
Got you to stop.
That probably caused significant damage to my vehicle.
I can probably help fix that.
Give me a deception check.
Probably my ass.
I'm fairly certain you don't know how to fix it, so...
I know how to fix some things.
Well, actually, give me a roll and
It's
tell me
been
what you got
rolled.
first of all. Yeah.
That is a 15.
Okay. Like, Let me see if there's any damage. Meanwhile, you think of something that you maybe could offer that I would like. I'll see if it requires repair, and if I can't handle it, that might be sufficient.
Quick, offer him the dust of dryness.
I'm gonna pull out my loot.
No, I need that for sexing. Oh. Not the loot.
That's not for so you see him go rummage in the back of this wagon and pull out a large backpack looking thing and pull out a bunch of tools and gizmos and devices. And he crawls underneath the vehicle.
Cool.
And you hear a bunch of clanking and banging, and you see him kind of shifting things. You see the vehicle kind of pop up, and its wheels are off the ground.
I'll take out my hammer and start lightly banging on something.
That's distracting.
It's got a beat he can dance to. Ting, ting.
What are you all doing? He just basically stopped talking to you and went under his vehicle.
It's cool.
I'm gonna check and make sure that my loot's okay.
Oh, after you got dragged around. Well, why?
Because I've been getting banged around a lot over the past day, and I've been carrying it around with me. So I want to make sure that it's not damaged.
Sure. Well, it definitely didn't get damaged in that last tussle because you were making down for camp, so you wouldn't have had it.
Right, I didn't have it on me at that point.
Nope, it's fine.
It's good.
Seems fine. A little worse for wear, a little sand in it. So
Okay. I'm just gonna start playing a quiet tune.
give me a performance check.
I don't think we've ever actually done this in
I
game.
don't know if I want a 1 or a 20.
25.
Oh wow. Oh yeah.
I got the 20, by the way, John.
Nice.
I would have liked either
Did you actually
result.
roll a natural 20?
I did.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So John, you hear the gnome is actually humming along with music as he's underneath us.
Playing White Zombie on a lute.
I'm playing him a calming song both for my own sanity, but also hopefully as a form of payment.
Okay.
If he'll take non-material things like your speech as payment.
So while he's under the vehicle, he's like, "So you say you're from Toril,
Yes.
and your friend? I guess he's just talking to you, Selwyn. Or what are you doing? Are you also hanging out by the vehicle?
I'm trying to stay vigilant for both. I still do not 100% trust this dude, and he's underneath doing stuff, and I'm a stranger in a strange land, so I'm being hyper vigilant. Graboids are out there, crate dragons are coming. This is fucking weird.
Sure.
I'm ready to poop out some darkness pretty quick.
Ready to poop darkness. All right. And it's so you're from Toril, and your friend is carrying around symbols and speaks of God. What is it again?
Gods.
Oh, yeah. Interesting. So you still have those over there?
We do.
Yeah, I heard tales.
Slightly frightened. Do you not have gods here?
You fucking Elcor?
Slightly frightened.
Where are all the
Did that stop the song?
Yeah, there'd be an abrupt.
Yeah, no. that's not a thing here. They don't exist. I didn't even think they were potentially real. Well, that's not true. I'm lying. I just lied. I do think they're potentially real.
That's disconcerting.
Why?
How do you know what to do?
Oh, you just
What
do.
keeps order in the world?
Well, I mean, it depends on your point of view. I mean, Karshimis mostly rules this land, though lightly, and it's been more and more difficult for him to hold order after the Blue Breath of Change. But, I mean, if you want to order, you can always head to the west, but then you're dealing with the dragons.
Totally.
Out of character, do gods exist? Like in Toril, is an atheist someone who is intentionally shunning the gods? Like, is there any gray area as to whether gods exist, or
No, it's fairly clerics. So clerics and paladins clearly enact miracles, and they say it's from their gods. If you are a person who is either a cleric or a paladin, you can definitely have there are beings that you have connection to. So there is it would be very unlikely that anyone would be an atheist. The closest you would come to that is someone who acknowledges the god's existence, but is like, we're not going to follow them.
Yeah.
Like that's not how I'm going to roll.
that's okay?
But
That was my
generally,
understanding of the Forgotten Realms, where like
Yeah.
not only were the gods existing, like you can look at this temple that he put there himself 1 billion years ago.
Yeah, potentially. Usually it's still like people build the things, and there's still that kind of connection of how much connection the gods have or influence.
Okay.
But and there's different variations of how much credence you put into it. But essentially, the assumption, no one really assumes.
So like the thought that gods don't exist would be as absurd to us as them existing is to him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it would not be. It would be absurd for you, depending on how faithful you are to the dwarven gods or another god, or if you even care. Your character may not give a crap about gods or worship anyone.
Sure, he doesn't hold them in particular reverence, but he knows they exist.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
They are a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. Sorry for the digression. I just wanted to.
That was important.
Yeah.
Crucial.
All right. I'm sorry. Where were we?
He's dealing with the fact that there are no gods, and you told him to go to, if you want order, go to the dragons. And then Bedouin said, "Well, if you have no gods, how do you heal?"
I mean, we have medicine. How do you heal?
We got
Holds up potion.
yeah, we got
You can't see anything. But
potions are cool, but we also have people who heal with hands, heal using their hands, have healing hands.
I mean, I've heard of magic that can heal. It's not common, but sure.
Oh, it's super common where we're from.
Oh,
The gods grant their servants certain powers.
oh, that's odd. That must be weird. I mean, I
A little.
I mean, it's not only gods though. There are other advanced beings that grant magical powers and stuff.
I mean, we have those here.
Do
mean,
you guys have Deva?
what? No, I don't know what that is. I mean, we talk about power. I mean, beyond the dragons. I mean, the dragons have a lot of power. I mean, a lot of power. But if we're also talking about Sheer, and we're talking about those who rule and who grant boons. Karshimis is the primordial who's ruled this land for the longest amount of time, but he's dealing with a bit of political issues. I guess you guys wouldn't, if you're not from here. I guess you don't have a.
That sounds a lot like a god to me.
Holy shit, primordials!
Yeah,
I just found out what those were like 2 days ago.
yeah, they're here. Most of them have been sleeping, though. Rumor has it a lot of them have been slowly waking up ever since the blue winds. The breath of change. Tink, 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 crank, crank. It's not as bad as I thought.
What's this breath of change you keep mentioning?
The blue winds, the breath of change. There's a lot of different words. It's when the blue fire swept across the entire land, and ruined effectively everything and throw everything into disarray. Parts of our world disappeared and just came back not too long ago. That caused some problems.
Roughly how long ago?
I wasn't there. The Breath of Change was over the course of 100 years. The raging fires and the blue winds reformed basically most of the lands, at least in the continent here.
Stop being disruptive, Poncho.
No, I'm not a. This is out of character. I'm not a historian, but does that roughly line up with when the spell scar was in effect, or when it went away?
It's hard to say. The spell scar was in effect, but it didn't. It wasn't like a constant.
Right.
It was there.
It was an
there
event
for-
that happened, and then it eventually.
Yeah, but the spell scar remained for a period of time, and then eventually during recent years, in the past, I don't even know, 20, 30 years or so, things were reset to the way they were. Lands had vanished and reappeared, or lands that had appeared, and then nothing that you directly encountered. There was no equivalent. Neverwinter had the most catastrophic physical turn during that time, or a big gash in. Oh no! See, it's my offhand. Doesn't matter. Neverwinter had the biggest amount of strife, physical strife, during that time. Big chasms opening and a lot of crazy chaos type stuff. But and it did affect certain areas. You would have heard tales of during the time of strange elemental changes to these certain areas that reappeared. That's where the Dragonborn came from all legends.
Okay.
At that time.
So, I don't know for certain, but I guess that's the association I'm making, is that they're related, even if they're not.
You would kind of line up. You wouldn't be sure of the dates. It seems a bit weird how he's describing it.
Yeah.
Interesting. It sounds like we may be occupying different sides of the same coin.
Sure, I suppose. What do you mean?
Exactly.
So he pulls himself from under the vehicle as it kind of low, and you see as he comes up from under the vehicle, he has in his hand like a rod of some kind, and it's connected. It looks like it has these joints, and they're like little segmented joints that are reaching underneath the vehicle, and he kind of like pulls it out underneath along with him and kind of straightens himself up, pulls his hat from underneath and puts it back on, and he kind of like cranks and twists it, and it kind of hears some clunk clunk trink, and the vehicle drops back down onto its wheels. And then the thing you see it kind of retract back into a little wand type looking thing, and he kind of pockets that.
Is that magic?
What's magic?
The tool you just used, is that a magic tool, or is that not a magic tool?
I suppose it could be considered magic.
Okay.
There's a certain style to it.
You want to
Definitely.
see a magic tool?
How useful is he? He kind of looks at you, and he kind of looks at you.
How do you feel about bugs and moving 5 feet in a random direction?
I do like moving 5 feet. Not particularly fond of bugs. He moves up as if he's seeing you for the first time.
How short is he? How tall is he, rather?
He's like 3 foot tall.
Is he really? So he's like at my groin.
Yeah, he's like sniffing.
So in an effort to,
He's like trying to look behind. As he gets close to you, he's like trying to look behind you.
yeah, I kneel. Not in deference, but
So he's not sniffing your crotch. So he's like you're more at his eye level.
It's been a lot of walking in the dirt. It's
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
walking in the sun. But it's more of a respect thing.
Yeah, keeps kind of doing the same thing. He's kind of like
So I'm just wondering what you're looking for.
nah, it's nothing. It's nothing.
Are you trying to see where to get my power from?
Nah, it's something familiar. It's weird. No, it's fine. It's nothing. It's fine. It's probably nothing. And he turns around. He's like, well, that's interesting. All right. And he's like, one final question. Why do you care so much about these gods of yours?
Well, they right the wrongs of the world. They provide order in a place full of chaos, and give people hope in the darkness.
Oh, doesn't sound that bad, I guess. But why you personally?
Well, I've seen my fair share of troubles in the world, and they've helped me find my peace.
All right, pile in. You see him. He just kind of hops back into the front of this vehicle, and you see it has basically just like a lever in the a center console type thing, and then another like kind of levered joint that goes side to side. I don't know the appropriate name for it. Just kind of sitting in front of it, and he's kind of like saddles himself in. He kind of pushes a crank, and the seats pop back up so you can see over the dashboard effectively. There is a little bit of a space to his side, but no actual seat. On the right side of this vehicle, he's a little bit, he's like off center, like the control is to the in the center control. And then you see in the back is just piled full of like sacks and crates and all sorts of other storage items, and they're all tied together by cord or cords. They're all kind of tightly woven. There's a little space for you to kind of squeeze in amongst that stuff or sit up front. None of it's particularly comfortable.
I'll sit in the cab.
Okay.
I will very happily make my place among his stuff.
Okay.
I guess I'll get in the cab. Or
This is
Only room for one.
only room for one? I guess I'm going back in storage.
You need to take a nap.
I do need to take a nap.
Or what we could do is we all got rope, and so
Just strap
so
some
we'll
rope.
tie it around some of his stuff or the bumper of his car, and then you can just ride on your shield through the sand dunes. Doesn't that sound like fun?
That sounds like a terrible idea.
No, you can scrape off all the livery from your god. You don't need her anymore. She's not around here, so you can just whee.
I'm gonna get in the storage now.
That probably isn't safe. I wouldn't recommend that.
It'd look cool in an anime opener, wouldn't it?
So, are we in any danger on this road? In your, what do you call this?
This is my wagon of perpetual movement.
It is not moving.
Perpetually, inside it is. And he just kind of like drops the crank down and pulls it back up, and he does this thing back and forth. He pulls a few knobs, and he bangs out it about 6.5 times, and pulls a lever underneath. You see him kind of make a motion since you're seeing up there, and you hear this, and blue flame shoots out from either end of these exhausts, and then it kind of subsides, and it's just like smoke billowing out of it. And it just starts moving forward. Like it just jerks forward in a very uncomfortable way. And you all get whiplash. And you've got to deal with negatives for the rest of your life. Because you don't have any magical healing or chiropractic. But you set off, and he kind of just looks over to you and he's like, yep, so you're coming with me? And we're just going where we're going?
Yeah.
Sure, then. Metroplex or Blessed.
What's the Metroplex?
And that's where we'll end for the night.
Fair enough.
All right, then that's our game for this evening. And we'll be back with more adventures on quite literally
need a different
the road
title because we took the road.
We did need a different title because we took the road.
You did take the road.
We took the road. You got to call it something else now.
Yeah. But it's about the other roads you didn't take.
But that's not what the story's about. The story's about this road.
I believe in the entirety of our canon, if there has been a road, we have taken it. We took the road to the graveyard mire, Dead Man's Mire.
It's more of a metaphorical road.
We rode in a boat. There was no road there. We followed the fucking hallway all
you didn't
the way
take the
to
road. You took a boat.
You should call it.
There was no road.
You took a boat.
There was no road.
Should have taken the road.
You
didn't take it.
You should call this Take All the Roads.
Yeah, there was no road that we
take
have
it.
not taken.
We take every road?
We have taken every road.
It is a metaphorical road. It's the road of life. Also, it's the road that was leading back to Waterdeep to play the campaign that I purchased that we're not actually going to play. Because I got too far up my own ass with my fucking adventure and allowed a world shift into fucking a beer. So that's the road not taken. It's the campaign we could have been playing. Now you finally see the insight of why I named it that.
Damn it! I wanted to play that campaign.
It's a pretty cool campaign. Waterdeep would be fun. All right, we're good.